I discovered my wife and my brother's secret by accident. What broke me wasn't just the affair. It was who helped hide it from me. The night I found out my wife had slept with my brother, I thought that was the worst betrayal a man could live through. I was wrong. The real knife in my back came later, when I realized my own parents had known about it, and decided I didn't need to. They smiled in my face, hugged me at Sunday dinners, said they were proud of the man I'd become, all while hiding the one truth that would crush me. And the day I finally put all the pieces together, I made myself a quiet promise. The next time my family gathered to celebrate, I'd bring a gift none of them would ever forget. I can tell you the exact moment my life split in two. It was a Tuesday night, one of those ordinary evenings that's so boring you think it's safe. I was sitting at my parents' kitchen table, drinking stale coffee and helping my dad scroll through the sports app on his phone because he still refuses to admit he needs glasses. My mom was washing dishes, humming some country song under her breath. My wife, Emma, and my younger brother, Luke, were in the living room, laughing at something on TV. Felt like home. Familiar. Solid. I remember thinking how lucky I was that my family actually liked each other, that my wife fit in so well. My mom would call her my daughter, and my dad would joke that Emma married into the family just to watch football with him and complain about referees. I believed all of that. I trusted it. Then my mom's phone buzzed on the counter. She dried her hands, glanced at the screen, and I watched the color drain from her face. Not a little. Completely. Like somebody had taken an eraser to every bit of warmth in her and left only shock behind. She locked the phone so fast you'd think it burned her fingers. "You okay, Mom?" I asked. "Yeah," she said too quickly. "Just spam." She turned the phone over, face down, and went back to scrubbing a plate that was already clean. I remember noticing that, thinking it was odd, but I let it go. You don't jump to worst-case scenarios in your own parents' kitchen. You don't imagine that the people who raised you are hiding a bomb under the table. I wish that had been the only strange thing. Later that night, when Emma and I were getting ready to leave, my dad pulled me aside by the garage door. He put a hand on my shoulder, squeezed it the way he used to after little league games. "Hey, son," he said, "eyes not quite meeting mine. If anything ever happened between family, you'd tell us, right?" I laughed, assuming he was gearing up for one of his awkward dad talks. "What are you talking about? Nothing's happening." He forced a smile. "Good. That's good." The drive home was quiet. Too quiet. Emma stared out the window like the scenery was more interesting than anything I could say. I remember reaching over, taking her hand, and feeling it limp in mine, like she was there but not really. I didn't know it then, but that was the night the truth started leaking through the cracks. About her, about Luke, and about the lie my parents were already helping to keep. The next few weeks felt like living with a TV on mute. Everything looked normal, but there was no real sound behind it. Emma got quieter. She started taking her phone with her everywhere, bathroom, laundry room, even just to grab the mail. When I teased her about it, she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Work's just stressful," she said. "I need to stay on top of emails. Thing is, she's a nurse. The hospital doesn't text memes at 11 at night." I kept telling myself I was being paranoid. Every married guy hits that phase where you start wondering if you're still enough. If she still looks at you the same way she did when you were standing at the altar, sweating through your shirt. I chalked it up to insecurity and tried to let it go. Then Luke started acting weird too. He used to drop by unannounced, barging into our place with a six-pack and some story from his job site. Suddenly, he was always busy. When we did see each other at my parents' house, he couldn't seem to stay in the same room as Emma and me at the same time. He'd crack a joke, look at her, and then flinch like head touched a hot stove. One Saturday, my mom invited us all over for dinner. She was jumpy, moving around the kitchen like she'd had 3 too many cups of coffee. My dad wouldn't stop rearranging the salt and pepper shakers. Emma sat at the table, twisting her wedding ring around and around. Luke showed up late, sweating, like he'd run the whole way. At one point, I walked into the hallway to grab my jacket and heard voices from the laundry room. The door was almost closed. I recognized my mom's whisper first. You promised me it was over, she said. You two said you'd never let it happen again. My stomach dropped. I froze. Luke's voice came next, low and broken. It was a mistake, Mom. We know. We're not telling him. It would destroy everything. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. It felt like my heart had crawled up into my throat, beating so hard I was sure they could hear it through the door. Then I heard the third voice. Emmis. I'm trying, she said, and there was this quiet sob in her throat. I swear I'm trying to just be his wife and forget it happened. The jacket slipped from my hand and hit the floor. The sound was small, but in that narrow hallway it might as well have been a gunshot. The voices inside went dead silent. That was the second my world tilted, and I knew, without seeing a single text or hearing a single confession, that my wife and my brother had done something that no amount of sorry was ever going to fix. I don't remember picking up the jacket. I just remember standing there in that hallway, heart hammering, trying to force air into my lungs like I'd forgotten how to breathe. The laundry room door creaked open an inch. My mom's face appeared first, eyes wide, fake bright smile already plastered on like Shed practiced it. There you are, she said. We were wondering where you went. Behind her, I caught a glimpse of Luke, pale and stiff, and Emma, cheeks wet, staring down at the floor. The three of them looked like kids caught with their hands in the cookie jar, only this wasn't crumbs and chocolate. This was my marriage, my family, my whole life. What were you talking about? I asked. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Too calm. My mom didn't miss a beat. Oh, just, family stuff. Luke's been stressed. Work, money, all that. Luke nodded too fast. Yeah. Just venting, man. Emma finally looked up at me. Her eyes were red, mascara smudged. She tried to smile and failed. Your mom was just giving us advice, she whispered. Advice. We're not telling him. It would destroy everything. The words I'd heard in that room echoed so loud in my head I thought I'd go crazy. I wanted to scream, to yank the door wide open and drag the truth out into the light. Instead, I swallowed hard and forced a nod. Okay, I said. Dinner's getting cold. We ate like nothing had happened. Chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, all the usual comfort food. My mom asked Emma about work. My dad talked Luke's ear off about football. I watched them all, really watched them, the way you stare at people in a photograph and realize you never noticed details before. The tightness in my mom's jaw, the way Luke wouldn't hold Emma's gaze, the way my dad kept looking at me like he was checking to see if I'd figured it out. I smiled when they smiled. I laughed when they laughed. Inside, something was cracking. Slow but deep. On the drive home, I couldn't hold it in anymore. What happened between you and Luke? I asked, eyes fixed on the road. Emma's head snapped toward me. What? In the laundry room, I said. You said you were trying to just be my wife and forget it happened. What is it? She went quiet. The kind of quiet that's louder than any argument. Nothing, she finally said. You're twisting things. You misheard. I pulled the car over so fast the tires squealed. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Don't do that, I said, turning to her. Don't make me feel crazy. I heard you, Emma. I heard all of you. Her lip trembled. For a second, I saw something like relief in her eyes, like maybe the lie had been heavy and she was tired of carrying it. Then she shut down again, like a door slamming. Your parents told me not to tell you, she whispered. They said it would just ruin you. That was when I realized the betrayal wasn't just in the past. It was still happening right then, in real time. And the people I'd always trusted to protect me had chosen to protect the secret instead. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there staring at the ceiling while Emma cried quietly beside me, turned away, her back a wall I couldn't get through. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them in that laundry room. My mom whispering, Luke staring at the floor, Emma saying she was trying to just be my wife. It played on a loop like my brain was trying to make sense of a movie where the plot had gone off the rails. Around 6 a.m., I gave up on sleep entirely. I'm going to my parents, I said, getting out of bed. Emma sat up, eyes swollen, voice hoarse. Please don't. Not yet. You already had not yet, I said, pulling on my jeans. You had months of it, apparently. She flinched like ID slapped her. Your mom said. I don't care what my mom said. I left before I could soften. If I stayed, I knew ID either break down or back off, and both options felt like losing. The drive to my parents' house felt different that morning. Same route ID taken 1,000 times, but my chest tightened with every mile. The house looked smaller somehow when I pulled up, like the foundation had sunk overnight. My mom opened the door in her robe, hair a mess, eyes already teary, like she'd been expecting this. Hey honey, she said softly. You're here early. Yeah, I answered. Thought we could talk. Where's Dad? In the kitchen. Her voice wobbled. Let me make coffee and no. I stepped inside. No coffee. No small talk. We're done pretending. My dad was at the table with the paper, but he wasn't reading it. He was just staring at the same page, like his brain had left the building. When he saw me, he folded it up with shaking hands. Morning, son. Did you know? I asked. No warm-up. No easing in. The words just came out, sharp and heavy. Did you know Emma and Luke were together? The silence that followed told me everything before either of them spoke. My mom leaned against the counter, covering her mouth with her hand. My dad closed his eyes like he'd been bracing for this hit, and it finally landed. How long have you known? I pushed. My dad looked at my mom, then back at me. About a year, he said quietly. I actually laughed. It didn't sound right, more like a choke. A year? You've known for a year that my wife and my brother were that they did that, and you didn't think I needed to know? My mom started crying. We were trying to protect you. I stared at her. From what? The truth? From breaking, she pleaded. You were in a dark place already, remember? Work was rough, you were depressed, you barely got out of bed some days. When Emma came to us and told us what happened, we panicked. We thought if you heard it then, it would push you over the edge. So you decided for me, I said. You decided I was too weak to handle my own life. It was one time, she whispered. A stupid, drunken mistake. They both swore it was over. They were ashamed. They begged us not to tell you. And you agreed. My dad's voice cracked. We made the wrong call. I shook my head, pacing because standing still hurt too much. You didn't just make a bad call. You lied. Every birthday, every holiday, every time I hugged you or told you how grateful I was for my family, you were looking me in the eye and lying. My mom sobbed harder. We thought it was better to let it die. But it didn't die, I said. It just went underground and sat there rotting until it poisoned everything. I stopped pacing and looked straight at them. I heard you in the laundry room. I heard you say you wouldn't tell me, that it would destroy everything. My mom slid down against the cabinet until she was sitting on the floor. My dad's shoulders slumped like someone had cut his strings. You have every right to hate us, he said quietly. I don't hate you, I said, surprising myself with how true that felt. I just don't know who you are anymore. And standing there in the kitchen where I'd eaten cereal as a kid and learned to ride out bad days with their help, I realized something I never thought I'd feel about my own parents. For the first time in my life, I didn't trust them. My dad offered to call Luke for me that morning, to sit down as a family and talk it out. I told him no. Whatever was left between my brother and me, I needed to face it without anyone else trying to steer the wheel. I didn't see Luke for a couple of weeks. He texted a few times. Can we talk? I'm sorry. Please, man. But I couldn't bring myself to answer. I filed for a separation from Emma. Quietly. No screaming matches, no broken plates. Just paperwork and the sound of my own pen scratching my name on a line where I'd once written vows in my head. Then my mom called and reminded me their 35th anniversary was coming up. We're having everyone over, she said. Just the family. It would mean a lot if you came. That was the moment I remembered the promise I'd made to myself. The next time my family gathered to celebrate, I'd bring a gift none of them would ever forget. So I went. The house was decorated with old photos. My parents as teenagers, their wedding day, me and Luke as kids in Little League uniforms. Emma wasn't there. I'd told her not to come. Luke showed up late again, eyes wary, shoulders tight. When he saw me, he froze like a deer on the highway. Hey, he said. Hey, I answered. We spent an hour pretending. My mom brought out appetizers. My dad made a toast about love that survives the storms. I almost laughed at that. My chest hurt too much to actually do it. Finally, I set my glass down and cleared my throat. Eve got something to say. I started. The room went still. My mom's fingers tightened around her napkin. My dad's face went pale. Luke stared at me like he already knew exactly what was coming. I found out, I said. About you and Emma. Nobody spoke. The clock on the wall ticked loud enough to feel like a drum. I heard you in the laundry room. I went on, looking at my parents. I heard you talking about not telling me. About protecting me from the truth. And I get it now, you thought you were doing the right thing. Or at least the easier thing. But you weren't just protecting me. You were protecting yourselves from having to watch me fall apart. Tears welled in my mom's eyes. Luke swallowed hard. I'm not here to scream, I said. I'm not here to make a scene. I just need to say this out loud so we all stop living like it didn't happen. I turned to Luke. You were my little brother, I said. My best friend. I would have done anything for you. And you chose the one thing you knew would wreck me most. I can't pretend that doesn't change who you are to me. He blinked, tears spilling over. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I was drunk and stupid and jealous, and there's no excuse. I hate myself for it. Good, I said softly. You should. But that doesn't fix it. Then I thought of Emma. The girl I'd fallen in love with in a grocery store aisle, arguing over which cereal was better. The woman who'd held my hand at my grandpa's funeral. The same woman who sat in my parents' laundry room asking for advice on how to lie to me. Eve started the process to end the marriage, I said. It hurts, but it's what I need to do if I'm ever going to look in a mirror and recognize myself again. My mom sobbed into her hands. My dad just stared at the table. As for you two, I added, looking at them, I love you. I always will. But I can't just slide back into the role of the son you kept in the dark. I need space. Time. Maybe one day we figure out how to build something honest out of what's left. But for now, Eve got to step away. It wasn't dramatic. No one chased me as I walked to the door. No one slammed anything or shouted. I just picked up my keys, took one last look at the house I'd grown up in, and stepped outside. The air felt cold but clean. In the months since, people have asked me if I regret not fighting harder for my marriage, or if I wish I'd cut everyone off and never looked back. The truth is, I don't have a perfect answer. What I know is this. Betrayal doesn't just show you who other people are. It shows you who you are. I learned I'm not the guy who gets even. I'm not the guy who pretends nothing happened, either. I'm the guy who walked away before bitterness became the only language I spoke. I still talk to my parents sometimes. Short calls, careful subjects. Luke sends the occasional message I'm not ready to answer yet. Maybe one day, maybe not. Emma and I are strangers on paper now, and that's a sentence I never thought I'd write. But I'm learning to build a life around a different kind of truth. The kind you don't hide to keep the peace, the kind that hurts but heals. And if there's any lesson in all of this, it's that love without honesty isn't really love. It's just fear in a prettier outfit. I'd rather walk alone in the truth than sit at a crowded table built on a lie.